Welcome back in, guys, to the Advisor Odyssey podcast. Today's episode, we are talking about automated marketing strategies. Yep, we're going back to marketing. Automated marketing strategies, what it really means, 3 of my favorite types of automated marketing that I know work, that I've talked with advisors about nonstop. We're going to also get into a couple little details about how to do each of them. So it's going to be a good episode. We'll be bringing this to you. Stay tuned.
This is the Advisor Odyssey audio experience, where financial advisors, planners, insurance agents, and brokers will find fresh new ideas and perspectives around what it takes to launch, succeed, scale, and bulletproof their business.
All right, automated marketing. Quick disclaimer, the term automated does not strictly mean technology-based. It does not mean it's computer automation. Automated is actually in reference to way back the very first or second podcast episode I ever did, the 4 components of a strong financial marketing plan. It's also an article I wrote. It talks about the 4 types of marketing that every advisor should have in their plan. One of those strategies is passive client marketing. Another one is passive lead generation. So that's what we're digging into, is the passive lead generation and the passive client marketing. Now, these strategies, ultimately, this is my opinion, there might be a compliance factor to this, okay? With everything I say, there's always an element of compliance. Always check with your compliance. But this especially, these 3 ideas, you will have hurdles to them. How big are the hurdles? Not sure. We'll have to figure that out. But it's going to leverage companies. It'll leverage softwares and services. It'll leverage a couple things here. And I will not be making any specific recommendations on companies to use or softwares to download or anything like that. But just keep that in mind, okay? Jumping in. 3 primary automated marketing strategies that I personally recommend to the advisors that I work with. These are in no particular order. But first is email marketing and automated drip sequencing. That's probably the one that you're most familiar with, I would imagine. The second one is set it and forget it automated webinars. I've discussed this before. You might be familiar with it as well. And then the third is leveraging a call center. Now, those are the big 3 automated strategies. We're going to dissect those one by one and talk about the pros, the cons of each, and then some ideas and strategies around implementing. Make sure, you guys, if you haven't yet, please take a minute and check out the link in the description here to subscribe to my weekly newsletter called The Weekly Voyage, where we are featuring we're highlighting an article that just came out the week prior. We're featuring the podcast episode if you haven't seen it yet. Plus, we're sharing a multiple of 2, 3, sometimes 4 brand new ideas that have not yet been shared that can only help you grow your business and build the practice of your dreams. Now, again, the link is in the description. It is called the Weekly Voyage Newsletter, and it is on LinkedIn and through LinkedIn's newsletter platform. The first one, as I said, is email marketing and drip marketing sequencing. Now, first, let me just ask you, when you get a new lead, okay, whether that's, you maybe do a radio show, they come in from radio, or maybe it's TV or, digital marketing in general, whatever it is, whenever you get a new cold lead, how are you immediately attacking it? And again, I emphasize the word immediately. How are you trying to engage? How are you trying to drive an appointment? How are you trying to drive a conversation? Whatever it is, how are you trying to do it immediately? Because when you wait, that lead, and there's a reason why they call it a hot lead, they start to lose their heat. They start to become colder and colder. You will never be more inclined to take a phone call from a salesperson than, which, by the way, I am calling you a salesperson right now. As an advisor, a marketer, you're putting a lead magnet out there for digital marketing or radio show, whatever it is. Someone's interacting with it, you need to attack it. But you are most likely to engage with someone who calls you to solicit something, or a stranger, when you literally just hit submit to get the piece of value, and then suddenly your phone rings. It's true. There are companies that make millions and millions of dollars because they say they can do it in less than 5 seconds. That's naive. That's not the game you're playing. But you do need to hop on that lead and try to engage with them within 24 hours at most. So this is why we say email marketing and drip sequencing is so powerful. If your database is also well organized, and again, this is for marketing purposes, if your database is well organized and you've labeled in your prospecting side, your leads, not your clients, how they first engage with your firm, or how they, if they have done it multiple times, how they continuously engage with your firm, you should notice trends. Sally Sue tends to always engage with our stuff whenever there's Social Security talked about. John Doe always seems to engage with our stuff. They register to attend webinars and events when we talk about taxes. You'll start to notice these trends, right? Now, as long as you've got them labeled, you can easily build out lead funnel, like flow charts, you can call it, and then like drip marketing sequences around that specific, we'll call it a pain point, that specific interest. Too many times do I hear the advisors, both that I work with and that I don't, they pay for some, marketing company to come in and they'll do all their email marketing for them, all their drip marketing. And they'll promise things, and sometimes they'll deliver on it, sometimes they won't, right? But that's the game we play. We have to, multiply our time. We have to delegate. We have to outsource things. But the problem with a lot of these companies that advisors don't seem to realize, at least not when they first start it, and I'm bringing this to light because everyone who's listening to this needs to be aware of this. They will try to market, for the most part, a mass message. So, if we use you, the listener as an example here, and again, you as the listener, I don't sell anything, but let's pretend I did. You as a listener, I put something out. I say, hey, here's, 20 ways that you can improve your LinkedIn profile, and you download that, checklist. If I all of a sudden then say, here's what you can do to, hire the right team members. Here's easy ways that you can hire better salespeople. Here's ways you can train them. Here's ways that you can enhance your presentation skills at seminars and webinars. Like, while there might be value in that, the reality is that you just downloaded something about LinkedIn, which to me, I would classify that as branding, right? So I should be targeting you with, material and content and, basically nurturing you around the idea of branding. Here's that, LinkedIn guide. Here's some easy ways that you can enhance your Facebook profile. Here's a couple easy ways that you can actually start to treat your clients, or treat your prospects like clients, and they start to believe they are too. Like, I can start to do all these different areas, like all these different ideas and such, but it's all going to hover around the idea of branding, right? Same is true with drip marketing, email marketing. If you've got the prospects who engage with you based around one specific type of message or one specific topic, taxes, hit them with tax messages. Tax mitigation. Here's the tax bracket. Here's the upcoming tax changes. Here's 10 things to check before the tax laws change. Here's the tax marketing event I have. Here's the tax work. Like, that's the route you want to go. And while that seems elementary and easy to understand in terms of like execution of it, the reality is that marketing companies, for the most part, don't execute on that because that's going to create results that are just too strong. It's going to create too strong of results. They need the mass marketing because they want to see that you're getting new leads in your system. They want to see 100 people click to download one piece and then become a lead. They're not fixated on making sure that those 100 people, making sure that they convert. You as the advisor know, I'd rather have 5 cold leads in a week and then 3 of them convert to clients at some point versus 1,000 cold leads, but only 1 of them converts to a client. So that was a bit of a rant there, I guess, on marketing and email sequences. But if you have a strong automated marketing sequence, like email marketing, digital marketing, lead nurturing, etc., that should create clients for you. And I say create clients, it should create appointments for you. If your email marketing, especially if you're paying for it, if people are not showing up on your calendar directly from whatever that software is or that marketing company is, like if they're not showing up on your calendar because of that, then it's not doing its job. If you have to do something afterwards to try and set an appointment, then it's not, depending on the money you're paying for it, it's not going to pay off well in the end for you, and it's better that you actually work with a group that creates content versus markets for you. So, moving on here, the second automated marketing strategy that I'm a huge fan of and that I talk with advisors about is set it and forget it automated webinars. I believe that webinars, while they were overhyped in 2020, 2021 time, and rightfully so, COVID shook the world, the true value in webinars to me lies in the automation of it. There's so much bandwidth that you can create in your marketing plan by having automated webinars going at all times. It's not incredibly costly. It might cost you, if you want to have an automated webinar going nonstop, just one of them, it might cost you $300 a month. But if that automated webinar is an evergreen topic, for example, and all of your marketing drives people to that automated webinar, then the reality is it's doing its job. Automated webinars, they're there as a list builder. Those specific, like that funnel specifically, unlike the first one I mentioned, its job is to actually find leads. It's to help you build your list. It's not meant to convert and create appointments necessarily. Now, we want to have appointments, but the goal of them, it's an exposure tool. It's not a conversion tool. So when it comes to webinars themselves, you want to be either really, really generic, like evergreen stuff, like what to do during market volatility, or the differences in life insurance, or what happens when you roll over 401k. Like, you can be pretty general, right? And you want to, this is an idea where you want to have 1,000 people register to attend this webinar, and you might ever only talk with 10 of them. Whereas the other side of that coin is you want your webinars, the automated ones, to be really, really specific and niche. This is going to be something where it's like, maybe that you specifically work with government-based employees at 1 or 2 different locations in your area in Baltimore, Maryland. Like, maybe that's your target. To where you don't want 1,000 people to register. You probably want 25, 30 people to register within a month's time. But the value of that is you know exactly what those 25 to 30 people want, because it's super specific. If, I'm not a government employee, I don't have any sort of ties to that, I'm not going to register to be a part of that. But that might be your niche. So again, dig into what your niche is, or, a couple episodes ago, I talked about your ideal client profile. After you find out your ideal client profile, you will know your ideal client and you can market to it. That, again, really easy concept. I talk about the advisor that I work with for years, still do. He thought his entire book was, government employees. He thought he worked with all kinds of government employees. That was who he is. That was his identity. The truth was, over 60% of his clients were actually public school teachers from 2 or 3 different school districts in his area. And that's just one idea of an advisor who did something really specific and who works with a very specific clientele. He didn't know it, but I encourage you to actually dig into it so you do know it. But with these webinars, the whole, like, the gold within doing this, okay, the reward that we have when we attempt to hold these automated webinars consistently is they can be used within your digital marketing efforts as a whole. You've got that individual who, maybe they registered to attend one of your seminars or workshops. Before the event itself, maybe you've got it automatically, it sends them a link to register to watch your webinar over XYZ topic. Maybe you've got a couple clients that throughout the process of the sales process, they sit down, it's a fact-finding meeting, right? Then maybe it's within that fact-finding meeting, you realize like this person's really, really fixated on their estate plan itself. Like they, maybe they have a ton of property, they've got a ton of net worth tied up. Like maybe they're a very, very wealthy client that has tons of moving pieces. You might have done a webinar automatically, or a pre-recorded one, I should say, and you run it automatically to try and capture high net worth prospects. But this is an easy opportunity. Again, send them the link to register for the webinar, to where it's, hey, hey John, hey, I know we just had a conversation yesterday about all this, and we'll talk about this again next week, on Thursday at noon when we meet again. But in the meantime, I thought you might find some value in watching this webinar I recorded a while back. It's not live. I did this a while ago, but it's still very relevant today. Feel free to watch it. If you have any questions, let me know and we can talk about it Thursday. Again, that's just value to add and to have in the arsenal. Again, it's all just arrows in the quiver. It's just knowing when to use what arrow. Another reason why the automated webinars are so powerful is because of, and this might be something you're unfamiliar with, but the WARN report, WARN. Not enough advisors know about this. The WARN report, I don't know exactly how it came to be, but I know it basically tells you, and you can do it by state, it'll tell you what companies are whether it's temporary or permanent, they're furloughing or laying off employees. And they'll tell you when it's happening typically. They'll tell you when they were given notice. They'll tell you the amount of employees usually. And sometimes they'll even give you information for contacting the HR director or how to get in contact with the employees. Not personally, to be clear, but like if they have like a union kind of deal. This is something that advisors that I work with, I've been strongly encouraging them to do this. And the ones who are more understanding of digital marketing and how it can work and should work, they have success with this. But the general idea is, if you knew that, let's say a local hospital in your area was going through some financial problems, they were going to either temporarily or permanently lay off 100 of their employees. All 100 of them, they're not going to be your ideal client, right? But if you can do a targeted campaign, whether it's on Facebook or LinkedIn, you can geo-target too. Like if you could run an actual specific campaign that drives these individuals to watch a webinar that's exclusive to, have you been offered, a buyout, or have you been given notice of, furlough or something like that, and you're in the medical field, like, again, it's really specific. Okay, it's really specific. We'll dig into that. We'll actually do a future episode on that specifically later on, but that's one of the reasons why set it and forget it webinars are so powerful. You can also include like your book. If you've written a book, you can weave that into it. If you've got an ebook as well, you can factor that in. Any upcoming events you have, whether they're seminars, workshops, those all can be plugged in and like put in the actual automated webinar itself. If you do date stamp anything, like if you say we have an upcoming seminar, on the 14th of June, that's something that you're not gonna be able to have constantly running like for a long, long time. You'll have to go back and kind of edit that piece of it, but it's really easy to record. If it's a 15-minute webinar, but you want to keep them shorter, record 14 minutes of it, and then have a quick little like cut scene, have a short video or a picture or whatever. Then you come back in and you say, hey, if you're interested in learning more, you can attend our upcoming event we have on XYZ dates. What's up, guys? If you're enjoying all this great content, be sure to check out our other content platforms for more and different types of content all around ways that you can become a better advisor. Things like marketing, sales process development, client experience. Maybe it's managing your team and your advisors better. Lead, like whatever it is, be sure to check out our social media profiles. You can find us at Advisor Odyssey across most every single platform that you're likely using. If you're looking for some more in-depth written out articles and blog posts, you can find that both on Medium by searching again at Advisor Odyssey, and then also on LinkedIn on my personal page, Daniel Hodajak. It's on these social media platforms where you can send in your questions, your feedback, your thoughts, and then I will then take that, formulate it, and I will try to create, maybe it's an entire podcast episode, another post that's specifically designed to help you answer the question that you are sending in. And again, that can be a direct message, it can be an email. Whatever it is, feel free, ask the question. I'll give you my best insight, and then hopefully it can make a huge difference in your business. Anyways, guys, let's get back to the episode. Now, the third automated marketing strategy that I really like is somewhat of a controversial one, and for a fair reason, but it is leveraging a call center. I did an entire episode around two full episodes around phone sales for financial advisors. Do they work? How do they work? Is it worth it? How do you build a team, etc.? So this specific idea is for the advisors who either A, you haven't heard that episode yet, B, you know that you cannot build an internal team, so you have to outsource it, or C, you're still skeptical. When you leverage a call center, there's a mental hurdle that you need to overcome and understand, and you will have to make this clear with the call center or the company you use. Their job is to call prospects in your database and try to get them to take action. They are strictly there to deliver call to actions. They call to lead with value, to potentially further qualify or disqualify if that's something you want. And then they're trying to get that prospect on the other end of the phone to take action, whether that's to attend an upcoming event, whether that's to go into an appointment with you, if that's to register for a webinar, whatever it is, that's their goal. In my opinion, there's nothing wrong with that. Some advisors say, that's not what I want. I don't want to be known for that. And that's okay. But that's where the power of the scripting is important. That's where, some advisors I work with, one of them in particular, works with a group out of the Philippines. They do a really good job. You might be saying, that's not me at all. If I ever did it, I would definitely hire someone in the US. That's fine too. But the point is, call centers can really help you leverage your time. And honestly, if you are constantly marketing and you've got a big database of prospects, if you don't have a big database, this won't be as valuable. But if you've got at least, let's say, 200 prospects in your database who are not clients yet, but you've got a lot of information, or they've registered to do something, or they've met with you before but never converted, this is where you want to have that call center come in. Let them try to get them back on the calendar for you. With that said, though, too, if the call center, whether it's the scripting or how they do their process, you can get into that with the specific company you might use. If there's a way that they can also, like within the script itself, if it can be married with your email marketing sequences, you're in for a great, great situation. When you put all three of these things together, by the way, here's what can happen. Let's say John Smith and Sally Sue, two separate prospects, enter into your funnels. They both have to download a white paper or a little like checklist guide you put out on, end of year, like tax mitigation strategies. So after they download that, you've got their information, right? And now they've got your white paper, theoretically. Like it showed up, it was an immediate PDF download. They have that. It's branded to you. In your database, you would add them and you would categorize them or tag them as tax. But when it comes to like the marketing like spiel, if you keep it simplified, I would say tax was their number one thing. So your email marketing sequences should be built out, maybe it's one email a week, two maybe a week, no more than two though. It's all about taxes. Here's the new tax law. Hey, make sure you got this tax guide we sent out. Did you have any questions? Here's some upcoming things that were not on the guide that you might want to keep track of. Here's if your email marketing is working in conjunction with the call center that's calling these prospects, if the call center is calling them on specific tax related value and their call to action is tax specific, let's say that is an automated webinar. They wouldn't say automated, they would just say an upcoming webinar that's about lesser known tax mitigation strategies, or 10 things to check now to better yourself for taxes next year. When all three of those things are working in tandem, you will have a much higher chance of appointment setting and likely client conversion than if you were to do them sporadically or just do one at a time. So again, guys, those are the three automated marketing strategies that I really like. This whole thing is an effort to maximize your time, multiply it. Pay someone, delegate it, or spend the time doing one thing so that it pays off and it gives you results down the line. Don't keep doing the same thing over and over again and expect different results. Thanks for listening, guys.
We hope you enjoyed the Advisor Odyssey audio experience. Connect with us on your favorite social media platforms at Advisor Odyssey. You can find our full-length educational videos to watch on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Check out all our articles and publications on medium.com/Advisor Odyssey. The Advisor Odyssey podcast is available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. The contents and opinions shared, expressed, or otherwise alluded to on the Advisor Odyssey podcast and audio experience are solely ideas and not to be depicted as tax, legal, or investment advice. Results from the use of these concepts may not be representative of the experience of all financial professionals and are no guarantee of future success. Your results may vary. The Advisor Odyssey and its affiliated members are not to be held liable or responsible for any lawful recourse or punishment invoked upon the individual or accompanying business partners or team members. Federal law, state law, and/or insurance carrier requirements may prohibit or place limitations on any of the ideas and activities expressed. All advisors, planners, wholesalers, affiliated reps, and investment advisors should be aware of any limitations imposed by federal regulation, state regulation, insurance carriers, broker-dealers, and registered investment advisors as applicable. Investment advisors are strongly encouraged to obtain pre-approval from the broker-dealer, registered investment advisor, insurance company, or similar institution with which they may be affiliated.